So this is the ash tree that I pointed at from over the other end of the field. And I'm really glad that I got it right, or else I would have felt a bit stupid. So if you have a good look at the tree, this is quite an old ash tree. Tree identity in general, there's quite a few things you can look for whilst you're trying to determine which tree it is that you're looking at. So the overall shape of the tree, maybe the size of the tree, the leaves of the tree. That's better to judge actually when there's leaves actually on it, which is not right now. Whether it's deciduous, meaning that it loses its leaves, which this is, or whether it's coniferous and evergreen. And sometimes you have features of a tree that are unique to themselves, that an ash has, which we don't have just yet because it's too early in the season, are the ash keys. So they look like dangling bunches of keys. They're called a samara, actually, and they are the seed heads, they're the seed pods of the ash, from which you can make a really nice olivey flavoured tapenade or pickle or whatever. And as it happens, the ash is related to the same family as the olive. They're in the Olaceae family. The bark, always a little bit odd with bark because sometimes the bark doesn't tell you a whole lot, but this is very typical of an ash tree. It has an ashy colour, quite deep fissures like this. If we were to be able to find a young ash whippy bit, you would see that they are a completely different colour. They're like the colour of olives. So as I say, with identifying trees, you have to look at the whole tree in order to be able to tell what it is, and then go to the finer details to really define it. Hope that's helpful. So ash it's really strong, but it's really flexible, and it doesn't mind taking a battering. So for example, if you're going to use it to make something, a hockey stick is made from ash. As are the most innovative use for ash that I've seen actually are the bicycle frames of the Tumper Bicycle Company, who make their frames from ash because they're, because of that strength and that flexibility. And we seem to have a huge load of sheep coming across the field, so we may need to pause for a second. Actually a lot of mythology around the ash as well, especially if you look at some of the Norse myths. They believed that the ash tree, or Yggdrasil, had its top in the earth and its roots in the bottom of the planet where the Norns lived, who worked out what was going to happen in the future. And I started this whole story about ash by telling you that I was going to tell you why I can recognise the tree so well. The reason is this. When I was 17, 18, I was in a band, which I was largely in to avoid going to school. And we weren't very good, but we did get to make quite a lot of music, and we also made an album. So we were looking at ideas for the album cover, and some bright spark, and I do know who it is, but I'm not going to say who it was, had the idea that I should be shown turning from a fairly fat 17, 18-year-old schoolgirl into a tree. This is a theme that you see throughout Greek mythology about girls turning into trees, largely to escape the clutches of Zeus. And so when this started to happen, this whole kind of godforsaken album shoot, when the cover came out, it looked as though I was naked, and I actually wasn't. I was all quite nicely covered up apart from my head and my arms and my legs. But what I had to do was to make like a girl running away from an ash tree, which is not easy. I'm going to show you how hard it is to do this. Although I've just told you about identifying trees, it's not always easy because trees don't all follow a pattern. Sometimes maybe branches have fallen off or been chopped off. Sometimes they might have been blown down by the wind, and that changes their appearance. So you just have to really keep your eyes peeled.